I'm Kari. I'm the winemaker for Cornerstone Cellars, and you're joining us now for another episode of Kari in the Kitchen with my husband, Jeff.
Yay.
Jeff, how are you?
Good.
Good.
Good to see you. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Thanks for being here. You have to toast.
Cheers.
So today we have a continuation of the show we did last week. We did wine and cheese pairing, and we did say that we were then going to talk about wine and charcuterie
That's
in
correct.
a separate episode. So here we are. It's summer.
Keeping our promise.
It's warm outside. It's the perfect time for a picnic.
Yeah.
And what would be better on a picnic than charcuterie?
Oh yeah, salami, salumi.
Oh, yeah, salami, salumi. Not the same thing.
Not the same thing.
Not the same thing.
All salami is salumi, but all salumi ain't salami.
That's correct.
And we'll talk about that later.
We will talk about that. So we've got 3 wines that we're going to taste today with some charcuterie that we've picked out. And the first one we're going to do is a wine that probably no one's had yet. This is our 2019 Sauvignon Blanc from the Farina Vineyard in the Sonoma Mountain. And the reason no one's had it is we haven't released it just yet, but this will be going out in September to our wine club members. So this is the 2019 Sauvignon Blanc.
Cool. And you bottled that just recently?
No, we've had it in the bottle for a few months. It's been resting comfortably and ready. It's going to be ready to go. The second wine that we're going to be tasting is the 2018 Rosé Pinot Noir we call Corlina. And this is a Rosé Pinot Noir coming from the Sonoma Coast, the Petaluma Gap area. So we'll be tasting that, and I have a feeling this is going to go with a couple of these things pretty well.
It's a versatile wine with a bunch of versatile meats, so it's going to be the star, I think.
And the third wine that we have is, well, really one of our favorites, as most people know.
I won't do the show if we don't have Pinot Noir.
We have Pinot Noir. So we've got our 2018 Fiddlesticks Pinot Noir from the Santa Rita Hills down in Santa Barbara.
18's such a good year.
2018 was a great vintage all the way around, up here and down there. But the Pinot Noir, it's been
all along the coast. The whole thing is just
really
amazing.
Yeah.
California 18 and 19 for that matter. Pinot Noir, righteous, off the charts.
Yeah, so I can't wait to see how these taste together. So I know that there's we've sort of figured this out.
There's a method to our madness. Yeah, we're doing 7 different salumi. 3 of them are salami, and we'll get to that later. But we're going to start, and there's no better way to start than with the classic charcuterie, which is prosciutto.
Prosciutto.
So this is true prosciutto. There was a little bit of a problem a few years back when there was some Dutch prosciutto being made, and then there was a big stink because they discovered that there were some bad pigs being put into Italy. So now we have true prosciutto. I didn't know what they meant when they said true. And this is prosciutto which is not cooked. This is raw. This is just dried with salt over a period of 14 to 36 months, and the long air drying time and the salt make it into this beautiful piece of dried.
It smells
ham.
amazing. Like I mean, it smells salty. There's a salinity to it, but it's this clean meat aroma that is really nice. And I think not all charcuterie always smell, they all have a different sort of smell. I think it's important as you're tasting wine too, what the aroma is.
Absolutely, and you want to serve it at the right temperature as well. We took these out of the refrigerator about 45 minutes to an hour ahead of time so that they can come up to temperature. But we did the display while they were still cold because they'll separate real easily. So you do your display and then let them come up to temp, and you get all the flavor. And they have this nice little glistening characteristic to them from the oil and the fats that are coming out. They're very pliable. They smell great. They're almost nutty and delicious. But prosciutto in Italy just means ham. So this is just a cured ham that hung probably for a couple of years in a temperature-controlled environment. That they check it once a week and they make sure everything's just right, and then they pull it off the drying rack when it's ready to serve. And this is just great stuff. Prosciutto.
So I am going to taste the wine first. For me, I love that you jumped right in there. And I'm thinking
It was so close to my mouth, I had to go.
A Pinot Noir. That's my thought. So I'm
That's
going
a
to
great way to start. Do rosé with prosciutto, and then you're doing classic picnic wine and classic prosciutto.
And that is a dry Provence-style rosé.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's got some fruit in it. There's a little bit of strawberry, a little bit of maybe even a little bit of rhubarb. That should go with that, in my opinion.
Let's try.
All right. That prosciutto's delicious.
Mm-hmm.
I love putting a board together like this for an appetizer.
Oh yeah, and people love seeing a big plate of meat coming at them. They're like, oh boy, I'm a little hungry. We have a little bit of protein coming, and you can do a combination with cheeses. Then it gets really complicated in terms of flavors, but just a great charcuterie board, you can't beat it. I mean, you can get it in a restaurant and it's lovely, and they have all these little beautiful crackers and seeded things that goes with it, but just this by itself is just a great appetizer.
Did you try it?
I did.
Okay, what do you think?
Delicious.
Pairs beautifully, doesn't
The
it?
acidity in the rosé cuts through the fat of that. And there's a lot of fat on that prosciutto, which is why it's so delicious.
Right.
And then the fruit of the rosé, that Pinot Noir fruit, goes beautifully with that meatiness of the ham. It's really good stuff.
For me, the prosciutto tastes even more meatier. There's more meat flavor for it, but the fruit comes up in the rosé. There's this nice fruit that kind of just expresses itself.
Pops it, and then you don't. It basically washes your mouth of all the residue of the salt that is left after you have the prosciutto.
And it makes you want to have another piece.
And that's the whole point.
I know.
Another bite, another bite. Don't get confused when you go to the store. You can find a bunch of different kinds of prosciutto. You can find prosciutto made in New Jersey if you want. American-made prosciutto is delicious and wonderful. The great classic prosciuttos are from Italy, of course. And even in Italy, you can get a few different kinds. The classic is prosciutto di Parma, from Parma, where Parmesan comes from. It's in Emilia-Romagna. But you can also get some from Friuli, which is the San Daniele, so prosciutto San Daniele. So it's comes from a little drier, a little higher altitude, so it tastes a little differently, but it's crisper. But all of them are really great. But the classic is prosciutto di Parma. It's not cheap, but you serve it in such minute quantities. You serve it in an ounce or two at a time. It doesn't really cost that much. It just looks expensive when it says $29, $30 a pound.
You know, it's a little bit like wine in that it makes a difference where it comes from.
Yeah.
It is definitely, the region where it comes from is impacted.
Each pig, I mean, they have a lot of regulations in Italy, and they have to have a specific kind of pig. That's why it was such a scandal when they were bringing in prosciutto from other countries that were made with a different pig. And the Italians hated it. It was a huge brouhaha. But they're a specific breed of pig that they grow in, they raise it in Parma, and oh boy, it's Parma, it's prosciutto, it's great.
All right, so what's the next one I see
The next one is a cute little thing. It's kind of related because it's also from the pig. We've got a lot of pig parts today.
Well, isn't most salumi pork?
Most salumi is pork, and we're going to have one exception at least, but this is called lomo, and this is also pork. It's a pork shoulder as opposed to a leg. The prosciutto is always from the hind legs of this specific breed of pig. This is from the shoulder, and you can see it's very lean in the center, but has a nice little band of fat on top, and then the whole thing is coated with paprika. So it has this little tang to it, not spicy, just a little brightness, and this is a really wonderful thing. It's lean and fat at the same time with a little spicy bump.
So I'm actually, because I've now tasted the three wines, I'm going to taste this first and see if I can pair this with something.
Okay. Because of the fruit in the rosé, I'm jumping right back to the rosé and comparing it to the rosé with the prosciutto.
I like the little bit of spice with the paprika. I'm going Sauvignon Blanc.
Yes, you have your choice of either one.
And there's a little bit of salt there too.
There is just a touch of salt and really great flavors, and that matches lovely with the rosé. How's it go with the Sauvignon Blanc?
Well, I like the Sauvignon Blanc on its own for starters, but the salt, the little bit of spice brings up, that is just blossoming.
Brings up the tropical fruits.
Tropical fruit, the pineapple, papaya, mango, a little lychee in there. And there's a little bit of like that fresh summer peach.
Wow.
Right?
Peach, yeah, white peach. Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. When you just grab one right off the tree and it kind of dribbles down your face.
That's a whole different wine with this lomo. It's really good. Yeah. But it's also a very different wine, or very different lomo with the rosé. Try it with rosé.
Okay.
I think the rosé has this nice rounder red wine flavors, kind of real berry, cherry fruit.
Also good.
This has tropical, this has berry.
Well, that impacts the flavor and the texture and aroma of the wine. The wine also changes this as well.
Absolutely.
For me, the rosé makes that taste spicier.
Aha! Okay.
So for me, the Sauvignon Blanc.
Works better because you
Works
don't
better
like
for me.
spices, and if you like
I don't like
spices, you
spices.
might like the rosé better.
I
I
don't
love
like flour.
It's why Baskin Robbins has 38 flavors.
That's right. 31. Did
Well,
they have extras? Did
They
they
have
get extras?
38
That's awesome.
flavors. Yeah. Now
All right.
we're moving on to another animal.
We are.
We're moving on to beef. There's not that many salumi made out of beef, but one of the classics is also from Italy, and it's bresaola. And it's like these little window panes of pure beef loin that are air dried. There's no spices. There's a little bit of salt just to air cure it, but it's mostly air cured. It's very, very light and delicate. Even though it's beef, it comes across as something like a fillet, so light and easy, and it's really delicious.
Very lean.
Mm.
I did just taste the Pinot again, thinking that since it's beef, that the Pinot might pair with
It's a red wine, and that's the natural inclination.
It's lean, but it's very tender, and it's sliced wafer thin.
And wafer thin, I mean, you can almost see through it. That's very good. And because it has a little salt, but not a lot, doesn't have any spices, nothing really big and bold to stick out, I think you can go the opposite way as well. And if you don't want red, you can go fully white. I'm going to do Sauvignon Blanc.
All right.
Oh, that's a completely different wine with that food than it is with the Lomo. But it works beautifully. That cleans up the beef flavors. The beef flavors are nice and light. They don't get in the way of the Sauvignon Blanc. And then the Sauvignon Blanc comes through with all that citrus fruit. It's like bright, and like taste me, and oh boy, it's summer. That's delicious.
Yeah.
That would also work with a rosé, either one, but the Pinot Noir also goes.
I actually really liked it with rosé.
Oh, excellent. I'm
Rosé
going to try
Pinot
it.
Noir with the Coralina. We're tasting 2018 Cornerstone Cellars Coralina Rosé Pinot Noir from the Petaluma Gap.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Very good.
Beautiful fruit.
I think I prefer the Sauvignon Blanc, but that goes really well. But you prefer the rosé.
I do prefer.
Either way. How did the Pinot do with the beef?
I'm gonna let you try it.
Okay. She doesn't like to tell me
I don't
how
like
I
to
think.
tell him. That's right. Not that he would listen.
I try. Oh gosh. Well, now we're getting into happiness land because I love the smell and taste of Pinot.
And this is the 2018 Fiddlesticks Vineyard Pinot from Santa Rita Hills down in Santa Barbara.
That's very good, but I'll tell you, that's a rich wine, and that's a delicate beef. It's the most delicate, lacy beef you'll ever taste, and I think that's maybe too much wine.
An earthier style of Pinot Noir might be just fine.
Or a really light, bright Pinot Noir, but that's a little richer, and it's a beautiful wine. I'd rather have that with a steak than I would with Bresaola. It's a little too light for me.
Agreed.
I really like Sauvignon Blanc and the Rosé with the Bresaola. Now we're moving on to salami. All salami is salumi, but what you just tasted was salumi as well. You had a prosciutto, you had a lomo, you had a bresaola. Those are all kinds of salumi. But one of the types of salumi is salami, and I love that, salami. And now we're having true salami, which are usually in a log shape, nice long roll, and we have three distinct ones. This one is called White Rock, and I think it's called White Rock because it has large chunks. It's a coarsely ground salami, so it has large chunks of white fat, so they call it White Rock. It looks like there's white rocks floating in the meat. And it's not overly spicy. It's got a nice rich flavor, but what carries this is the real richness of the fat.
I'm just gonna, oh, thank you. Do you have an idea what this is going to pair with?
Wow. My idea was start up here with the Rosé and the Sauvignon Blanc and come down here and start working with reds because salamis tend to be a little gutsier and I think they need a little red wine. So I think I'm going to try it.
And that's salty too though.
It is salty, so
salty.
it might be rosé because it's so versatile. But I'm going to start with Pinot Noir, see what I think.
I'm going to go with the Cornerstone 2018 Rosé Pinot Noir, or Coralina. I'm going to start there.
Because I think these are too powerful a flavor to go with Sauvignon Blanc. I could be wrong, I'm going to try that too. But I started with the red and I'll work my way back. What do you think, hon?
I liked it. I like it with the Rosé Pinot Noir.
Rosé is the perfect picnic wine. It's a great versatile wine as well, and it goes with salami and salumi quite well.
Oh, well, the Sauvignon Blanc in this instance, and it might be because of some of the seasoning and the salt, but this takes on more of a minerality that I didn't get from some of these other meats that we tried. It's just a little more elegant. It's not as lush and fruity, and
you could do Merlot and Cabernet Franc and Cabernet with these because they're big, rich salamis. The Pinot Noir is so rich, it's actually maybe not as well paired as the Rosé, which you're absolutely right, goes beautifully. I don't know about the Sauvignon Blanc, but I'm going to try it right now. But these are really good, powerful salamis that might go really well with more delicate wines. That's very nice. I'm not sure I agree with you though. I really think the Rosé just hits it spot on for me. It's all personal taste.
It does, but I also like the Sauvignon Blanc.
Yeah, I think the Sauvignon Blanc did better up here, and with that, it seemed like they were fighting each other, but that was just my opinion.
Yeah, no worries. What you got next?
We're moving on. So we went from White Rock, which is, this is one of the things that they call this at one of the wonderful stores down at the farmer's market, at the Pike Place Market, or the...
Oxbow?
No, it's not Oxbow, it's the Ferry Plaza. Down there's a place that was famous for salty pig parts. And most of this is pig, and a lot of it has salt on it. So a great way of calling salumi is salty pig parts. And these guys always had a great sense of humor. But when you taste this, you see the thread of not only pork, but a fair amount of salt to cure it with as well. And some of these are cooked, except for the prosciutto, which is prosciutto crudo, not cooked at all. Now, this is saucisson sec. Saucisson sec sounds so French and so fancy, but really, saucisson sec is just a really finely ground as opposed to the coarsely ground with the big chunks of white rock floating in it. This is a finely ground salami, and this is what we're all used to. It has little flecks of black pepper, it has little bits of fat in it, but it's got a lot of that red meat in it, so it's got a lot of beautiful pork, also cured with some salt. This is also cooked. This is salty, and this is the classic salami. If you're looking for the classic salami thing, that is saucisson sec. It is the middle of the road, not too spicy, a little bit of beautiful flavors, but no strong flavors sticking out.
Salamis are usually about 20 to 30% fat.
Oh yeah.
But you can see if they've ground it up fine, or you don't notice it so much, but it's still there in the flavor and the texture. Exactly.
And that's a little stronger flavor than the first one with White Rock. So where are we going with this? Are we going Rosé, Sauvignon Blanc?
I'm going to go Sauvignon Blanc first.
All right. I'm going Rosé, Bob. Oh, wait a minute. You're not Bob.
That brings that Sauvignon Blanc back to that tropical mango, papaya, pineapple.
That makes sense. Has a little bit more fat, a little bit more black pepper.
And salt.
And salt.
And salt.
And a little stronger flavor is going to bring out the tropical flavors of this. It goes really well with the Rosé because once again, that is just so versatile. I mean, I can't find anything that the Rosé isn't happy with.
And it's Rosé of Pinot Noir. We drink a lot of this actually. It's sort of our house wine, especially in the summer. But it does go with so many dishes, with meat, without meat, our vegetarian dishes.
If the drought gets worse, we may be showering with Rosé at this point.
Oh my goodness. That doesn't sound that bad.
I knew that would bring a smile to your face.
That's not that bad.
That's classic salami, saucisson sec. Simple, clean, fairly mild, but really, really good.
What's your preference?
I'm going Rosé again. I really like that Rosé. I think it brings out the tropical flavors of this, but I thought the Rosé was best with the Lomo. I mean, not the Rosé, the Sauvignon Blanc was great with the Lomo. I thought the Rosé with that salami was really good.
Gotcha.
Next comes my favorite of the three salamis. Talk about White Rock. This has got white meteorites. This has got big chunks of fat in it. This is a really coarsely ground piece of salami. And this has got a really strange name. It's hard to pronounce it. It's very hard to spell. It's S-B-R-I and all this stuff. It's Sabricciolona. Sabricciolona is the Tuscan version of Finocchiolona. And Finocchio means, in Italian, means fennel. So this is a fennel-infused sausage that the Tuscans make, and they call it Sabricciolona. And it's just, this is one thing you can't forget, is when you're tasting salumi, smell it. This smells like a fennel bulb. It's so delicious. And
which makes me concerned that it might be too flavorful
Too
for
strong.
some of the wines.
Too
yes,
herbaceous.
like overpowering.
Right, and you would think herbaceous, maybe it's Sauvignon Blanc time. So, Sabrucciolona.
It doesn't taste as fennelly, that's a word. It doesn't taste as fennelly as it smells. I mean, it smells delightful, but I thought it might be overpowering on the palate.
It smells a lot like fennel. It tastes a little bit like fennel, but it's also got those nice meaty pig part salt, strong salami flavors, but still preserves that fennel characteristic.
You know, and it's not too salty, and like not.
No.
I mean, I love salt. You know,
No,
I love salt.
But that fat is just balances the salt so beautifully.
Balanced.
I think you could have all three of these wines. You could actually mix them together and have it. But this one, this is so good.
I don't know. Let's try.
I'm going to do something.
So you're back to the 2019 Sauvignon Blanc from Cornerstone Cellars, which hasn't been released yet, but our wine club will be getting it in their September shipment.
September, boy. September in most places is still warm enough to go have a picnic, so buy some salami or some salumi or both, and go out and have some really great Sauvignon Blanc in the sunshine before winter sets in.
Winter's not coming.
Winter's not coming this year. No, it's just like everything else. It's all topsy-turvy.
That's right.
It's very good with the Sauvignon Blanc, but the fennel is so strong. The actual salami is such a strong flavor. It's maybe not the perfect match with Sauvignon Blanc, and I'm going to try it with rosé. What do you think?
So far, I agree with what you said. Yeah, I had some. Got it, and I've worked my, well, I will, yes, I will later. I still got a couple more things to try.
Oh.
I know.
Oh, the rosé. Never mind.
2018 rosé.
Just get some rosé and get some salami and you're done. It's so good.
But you haven't tried the Pinot Noir.
No, I haven't. But that is just beautifully balanced. It brings out the fennel.
It does.
And the fennel still doesn't dominate.
Yes.
It brings out a little bit of spice that's in there. It tames the salt. It cuts through the fat. I mean, it does everything you want to do. I mean, the only thing that rosé doesn't do is wash your car. It's amazing
I was
stuff.
counting on it for that. We should speak to the winemaker about that.
I know, she's a tough one.
She is.
Oh, God, Pinot Noir.
Yeah, that rosé is something.
Actually, that's the first salami that was big enough to handle the rosé.
I thought the Pinot.
I mean, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
the Pinot.
I
really
think the
good.
Pinot's beautiful with that.
The Pinot and that are very good, and the rosé is equally as beautiful. You have your choice, doesn't matter. Get some Pinot Noir, pink or red, and drink it with some finocchio, the old fennel-flavored sausage.
That's right.
Sabrucciolona.
Yeah.
If you can say it, you can drink it. It's actually a sobriety test all in itself.
Not a very good idea.
Okay, now we're back to
This is
classics.
bonus points here. This is actually our bonus points.
We did 6 salumi.
We did.
3 of which were salami, and we're not going to go into that again.
Not again.
And then we did a bonus meat because 7's a lucky number, first of all. And secondly, it is Kari's favorite meat
I do
in the
love
whole
this
world.
very much. I do love this very much.
This is just and we have to give a shout out to Fatted Calf. They provided all of these, we paid for it, but they made all of these beautiful salumi.
All house-made.
And this is their house-made smoked ham. It's just so simple.
Yep.
It's an American classic salumi, if you will. It's not salami, it's just smoked ham. You can't get anything more pure than just this beautiful smoked pork flavor.
I have to say.
And a calm falls in the evening because nothing is better than smoked ham, just pure smoked ham. This reminds Kari a bit of her grandmother's ham that she used to go. They ran a tavern in Wisconsin. They would
Appleton for you people up north.
They would get fresh ham legs from the farmers, sometimes in exchange for the beer, and then they would make this beautiful ham. And she said, "This is as close to
My
grandma's ham as I've ever had."
Tender, meaty, tastes like ham. It just tastes like fresh. I mean, it's the animals. You source the right animals. It's very little is done to this. It's smoked a little bit. It's done.
There's a beautiful blues song called "Grandma's Hams," and this is
it's not ham.
Grandma's
that's right.
ham.
All right. 2019 Sauvignon Blanc,
Let's go.
Cornerstone Cellars.
It'll go with all three.
2018 Cornerstone Cellars Rosé of Pinot Noir, Petaluma Gap, or 2018 Fiddlesticks Vineyard Pinot Noir, Santa Rita Hills in the Santa Barbara County.
Well, you know, it's
So
such
those
a
are our
classic.
three options today.
I know. We started with prosciutto.
Yep.
And the prosciutto, we didn't necessarily do this, but goes great with the Pinot Noir as well as the Rosé of Pinot Noir. But smoked ham is just classic Pinot Noir, ham and Pinot. Pig and Pinot is what we call about it. Whenever we have pork chops or ham or anything at home, we go, it's pig, it's Pinot. It just works beautifully. So whether you're having Rosé or real Pinot, it doesn't matter.
Right. I was going to say, because it is Rosé of Pinot Noir, and while you can make Rosé out of other grapes, this one is Pinot Noir. So it's interesting to try them, I think, side by side.
I like the Sauvignon Blanc. I don't love the Sauvignon Blanc with this, but it works just fine. If you have a bottle of Sauvignon Blanc, you're not stuck. Just drink it and eat it.
Yep, it works.
And I'll bet, I can't wait to get to the Pinot Noir, but I'll bet this goes great with the Rosé because it's ham. Ham is pink, Rosé is pink, life is good. Pinot Noir and pig. That's very good. Actually brings out the acidity in the Rosé, so it almost seems a little sharp.
It seems a little more bright. The acidity seems a little more pronounced.
Yeah.
The fruit kind of falls back a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that's maybe my least favorite pairing with the Rosé so far, but
all the other ones have been good.
oh, they've all been good.
So if we only could bring one bottle to our picnic, which that's not a picnic I'm going to go to, but still, you only can bring one bottle.
Right. Don't
Rosé.
think drink pink.
Drink-
Don't think drink
Rosé.
pink. That's it. It's not hard.
And all
Pink
year
goes
round.
with it all.
And all year round. Really, it's not just a summer wine. It goes everywhere. I think it's a great wine for Thanksgiving.
Oh,
It goes
But-
to the table with all those different dishes again, except that weird casserole with the marshmallows on
right,
it.
exactly.
Not that.
Not
But
the sweet
everything
stuff.
else,
No, the Rosé is great.
Yeah.
It's the Thanksgiving wine because Thanksgiving is everything.
everything.
But I'll tell you, if you want to get to Happy Land, you do something classic like smoked ham and a great wine that goes with it because it seems like it was meant to go with it.
Yeah.
Pinot Noir.
Yeah. There you go.
Thank
There
you.
it is. Thanks for taking us around the world on a charcuterie board. So now that we've talked about cheese last week, we did charcuterie this week, we can pull a picnic together, we could do an appetizer board, we can put all sorts of things on there. The only thing I'm going to caution is putting sweet on that board.
No, a lot of times you go to a place and they'll give you a cheese board with, and they'll give you, some roasted nuts, and then suddenly it's like a honey
yeah.
and jam and all these other sweet things. Stay away from the sugar.
Yeah.
It hurts the wine,
It does
and the
hurt the
wine will not be happy with the sugar. But when you have a charcuterie board, you don't have to worry about sugar. Don't let them talk you into the honeycomb.
Don't
spend any
Don't
more
do
money.
that.
Just have some meat and have some wine.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you that Pinot Noir and the ham, that's it.
That's a match made in heaven.
If you, it's just like reading. If you start with ABC, you start with pig and Pinot.
There you go.
Done.
Easy enough. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. This was fun because now we're going to get a chance to nibble and kind of go around the board again.
I got to thank her for making these great wines.
Well, and I thank you for helping me pick out these little charcuteries.
There you go.
Right?
And when you put them together, you're talking about a match made in heaven, just
And
like us.
And actually, I want to thank my mom for being here. She's just right there.
Ruth is
She's
the-
visiting
right there
from
from the corner.
Wisconsin. For all of you people in Wisconsin, hello.
We haven't seen her in a year and a half, and she's
Ruth
here.
says hello.
Yay! So she's watching us drink and eat, and we've been eating and
seems
drinking
about
with
right.
her for a few days, so we're in good
And
shape.
it's been great.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining us on this episode of Kari in the Kitchen. Next week, Kari's going to be in the vineyard. We've got a lot going on in the vineyard. There's veraison. We've got canopies that are getting managed.
Oh, and you're going to show them a little bottling, too.
Yeah, we're going to probably talk about bottling as
Yeah.
well. In fact, today, a couple hours ago, we got done bottling our 2019 reds, which I'm super excited about. They're just beautiful wines.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm pretty excited about that. We also put the 2020 Farina Sauvignon Blanc in the bottle.
So in the meantime, you just sing, you say salumi, and I say salami, and I say
On that,
salami, and you say
I'm gonna say
salumi,
goodbye, honey.
salumi,
Bye.
salami. She's turning me off now.